Today, we are tier ranking the starting five of every state. Highly inspired by our friends over at Hive Mind, where they did a tier ranking of every state's signature dish or signature food. I'll put the link in the description. But I hit my guy Jonathan up and said, hey, I need you to create a document that has the starting five of players from every state. So starting off with Alabama, they got Jeff Malone, Gerald Wallace, George McGinnis. Ooh, actually, this team is pretty nice. Now, before we get into the comment section and we get to arguing, oh my God, he picked this player, not that player. This is strictly based on basketball reference and some stats and stuff like that. So it's not subjective opinion, it's objective, all right? And we also didn't divvy too far away from the designated position. So like a player like LeBron, who has played many positions in his career, is probably, when we get to Ohio, is going to be a small forward or power forward, even though we've seen him play shooting guard his rookie season. We've seen him play point guard back in 2019 or 2020. Just sit back, man. Enjoy the vibes, all right? Don't be arguing. Or do argue, but don't argue with me and Jonathan, because it is what it is. Y'all argue with each other. Alabama, sneaky nice, though. The stars next to the name means that they're a Hall of Famer. So they got 3 Hall of Famers. Gerald Wallace at one point had one of the biggest and most untradeable contracts in history. That should get some type of points. And Jeff Malone, I don't remember much about Jeff Malone, but I can see his face. Low-key, Alabama might be off to a... We're going F through S tier. Bama having 3 spots be Hall of Famers, and Gerald Wallace, who I think participated in one All-Star game. I'm not going to Google it. I think he was a one-time All-Star. I think they start off with an A. Granted, this team can't really shoot. But a DPOY, perennial DPOY guy, MVP, and then George McGinnis. That's an A. And I said I wasn't going to Google it. I did Google it, and Gerald Wallace did indeed play in one All-Star game. Alaska. F. They got Mario Chalmers and Dyson Nix. I actually didn't know Dyson Nix was from Alaska. Also, if I'm not mistaken, this is where people were born, not necessarily where they were raised or where they're from, if that makes sense. I think. So if you're like, man, this guy was born in Indiana, but he reps California, well, he might be on the Indiana team if he was born there. This is an F, though. From A to F. Next one, we got Arizona. And you know what? Arizona, for being as big of a state as it is and having some good Arizona University teams, I expected them to have a way better starting lineup than Jared Bayless, Matisse Thybulle, Sean Elliott, Mark, whoever the hell, and Mark Allery. Whoa. Did Mark Allery have a daughter in the WNBA? Or did she went to like Princeton? Oh, I swear if I'm right here, I deserve some type of pat on the back. Children, Bella Allery. She did play in the W, and she went to Princeton. Wow. I am stupidly locked. Is she still in the W? She last played in 2021, so she has. Bro, wow. I just recognized the last name and thought, I remember a W. I'm sorry, I remember her in college. I don't remember her much in the W. She was a 5th overall pick. Hello? I remember her in college. And I'm like, that last name is so very specific. There's no way they aren't related. And it indeed is his daughter. So shout out to Mark and Bella. But over all of this got to be like a D, right? It's got to be like a D. Like, if your best player is Marvin Bagley, or I guess Sean Elliott can count there too. Hold on. Sean Elliott or Marvin Bagley can count as the best player. Either way, no, Sean Elliott for sure. My fault, Sean Elliott. This is a D tier. Sorry. Then we get Arkansas. Uncle Mike Conley. Didn't know he's from Arkansas. Sidney Moncrief, Joe Johnson, Scottie Pippen, and Joe Barry Carroll. Yo, this is a good team. If we said this one was a D tier, this is definitely high C, low B. Probably a B. They got Scottie and Moncrief, and they also got Uncle Mike and Joe Johnson. Joe Johnson was a 7-time All-Star or whatever, and Uncle Mike is really good too. I'm putting this B tier, man. This is B tier. This is B tier. You know, wow, it's so close to A tier though. Okay, wait. Compare it to this team. This was our last A tier team. This team, I mean, it's B tier. B tier. I've made my decision. It don't matter at the grand scheme of things. B tier. Next we got Cali. Cali's S tier. It just is. And we could have 7 different teams from California, I'm sure. Jason Kidd, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Paul Pierce, Uncle Tyson Chandler. A tier. What can I say? I'm thinking of some people that got snubbed off the starting five. But remember, we didn't steer too far away to make positions match. Paul Pierce is moving up to the 4, which we've seen him play a little bit in his career. They got Jason. They got some MVP. They got some MVPs. They got some championships. They got some All NBA appearances. I mean, that's an S tier for sure. We knew Cali and we know Chicago. It's gonna be S tiers. Colorado, sneaky. Chauncey Billups, Derek White, Jalen Williams. I guess that makes sense because Cody went to Colorado. So I guess it does make sense that he's from Colorado. Bob Dahl, never heard of you. And then Jason Smith. That front court is going to make it a little bit more difficult. I said this one was B tier, right? So this would have to be like a high. I'm already messed up. I hate my grading scale already. I might have to hit a mental reset because this team is probably like a low B, high C, like a C plus tier or something like that. Because that top 3 is real good. You know what I'm saying? Jalen Williams got the potential to be a lot better than, what he is now. I'll probably put it a C. Let's go C tier for Colorado. Okay, Connecticut. Calvin Murphy. All right, shout out to the Short Kings out there. Michael Adams, John Williamson. I don't know anything about John Williamson. Charles Smith might be the most generic name other than first name, last name. And then Marcus Camby, who got a DPOY. Probably also a C tier, maybe even D tier. Like Camby can hold his own. Obviously, Calvin is a Hall of Famer. I don't know if I can put a team with a Hall of Famer in the D tier, but the C tier. Don't overthink it. C tier. See, like Delaware. Oh, Delaware. Tough guy Dante DiVincenzo's from Delaware. Walt Hazard, what a name. What a name. Who are you? I gotta Google. Oh, that's a spoiler. I gotta Google. He played in the 60s. He was a one-time All-Star. Just a great name if you're a fan of. I'm gonna switch my hat around 1,000 times this video. Great name if you're a guy that loves a good nickname. Like if that last name was in today's basketball and he had a handle, oh man. This one is Jalen Duren. I actually didn't even get down to the center. I didn't know Jalen Duren's from Delaware. It's kind of cool. Joey Graham is here. I remember Joey Graham. And AJ English does not ring a bell. So this is D tier. Sorry, D tier. Washington, D.C., of course, not a state, but it's its own place. It's got Kevin Durant, so that's something. They got 2 Hall of Famers and a future Hall of Famer. They also got Kermit Washington, who's forever in NBA lore for a specific reason. They also got Austin Carr. This is actually this might be an A tier, man. 3 Hall of Famers, and then Kevin Durant has an argument to be top 10. Argument. I ain't saying he in my top 10, but argument to be top 10. That's probably an A tier. Shout out to Washington, D.C. It's just one small spot of the Americas, and produce this many good NBA players. Florida. Yeah, Florida's going S tier. No Chill Gill, Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter, Amari Stoudemire, David Robinson. S tier. S tier, S tier, S tier, S tier. Come on, man. That's 3 Hall of Famers. Amari has a conversation of getting in one day, and then Gill probably won't. His prime was a little bit too short. But he's not in the Basketball Hall of Fame, but he's in the NBA Hall of Fame for all of the crazy stuff he did, all the crazy shenanigans. So S tier. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Georgia. Oh, Georgia. Hold on. Georgia got Walt Frazier, obviously Hall of Famer. Dwight Howard, future Hall of Famer. Josh Smith. Wow, what a name. Anthony Edwards, future Hall of Famer. Conversation? Who knows? Jaylen Brown, potentially future Hall of Famer. Like, Jaylen Brown's going to have a bunch of accolades under his belt when it's all said and done. Maybe he's never going to get an MVP, but he's going to have some all NBA teams, some hopefully championships, the way his team is built. Yeah, this is... Okay, so comparing it to Florida, who was just our last S tier. Comparing it to Florida, it's just a little bit too young for me to put it S tier right now. We don't know what's happening in Anthony Edwards' career, but if it goes the way we expect it to go, I mean, yeah, S tier potential. Very, very, this would be like A plus tier. A plus tier. Hawaii, Serge Sabalos and Red Roach. F. Idaho. Wow, Idaho can put together a full lineup. Luke Ridnow, Deb Smith, Dale Wilkinson, Charlie Black, and Steve Hayes. Who's winning this game? Between these 5 and these 2. They're in the same tier. Match them up against each other. F. And that's mostly because I don't know 4 to 5 names on the thing. And I'm not doing more Googles. It's probably more of a D tier because they can at least field a real roster. F tier. Illinois. S tier. Zeke. The youngest MVP in NBA history. Dwayne Wade at the 3 is kind of crazy. But I'll take it. We'll give it an Illinois pass. Dwayne Wade, Anthony Davis, George Mikan. It's got 4 All NBA 75 players and also the youngest MVP ever. Do we need to say more? Give us a big old S tier. Indiana. Louis Dampier, Dick Barnett, Larry Bird. Wow, Indiana, Glenn Robinson, and Zach Randolph. Indiana's obviously a huge basketball state for sure. I didn't realize they had 3 Hall of Famers. And then Zach Randolph. This is high A, man. Larry Bird kind of carries for sure, but they do have 2 other All-NBA Hall of Famers. I actually didn't know Dick Barnett was in the Hall of Fame. I learned something today. It's probably A, man. This is probably A. They got big dog Glenn Robinson, A tier, A tier. Iowa, whoa. Kirk Heinrich, the captain, got a lot of love for the captain. Keegan Murray's up to the 2, even though he's like a 4. Give it a pass. Harrison Barnes, Rafe LaFrentz, and Nick Collis. This is probably C tier. Even though I like a lot of the players on this team, Nick Collis has been a one-team guy. Keegan Murray, and then also Captain Kirk Heinrich forever have a spot in my heart. I can't go too biased, so I'll keep it moving. Kansas. Wow, I don't recognize a single one of these. Oh, no. Scott Wedman and then Alvin Adams are 2 names I recognize. Oh, Lucius Allen. Okay, I actually recognize 3 out of the 5 names here. I jumped the gun. Warren Jabali. And then Leonard Gray, I'm not familiar with y'all game. You're probably closer to a D-tier team, though. Even though Alvin Adams had a few really good seasons. Let me double check that. Yeah, Alvin won Rookie of the Year, and he was a one-time All-Star. So it's D-tier. I don't care, D-tier. Next, Kentucky. Rondo, Allen Houston, Cliff Haggins, Joe Folks. I mean, three-fifths of this lineup all played in the 50s and the 60s. Was Joe Folks the first NBA superstar? Isn't that like his claim to fame? Nonetheless, though, really good team, man. Really solid team. I'm putting it high B tier because Cliff Haggins and Joe Folks, I couldn't tell you anything about them other than being Hall of Famers and being extremely old. Probably high B tier. Allen Houston had a torch, man. He could get buckets. Rajon Rondo, one of the purest playmakers of all time. Loved this game. And then Dave Cohen's, obviously, you know him. High B tier. Louisiana has De'Aaron Fox, Clyde the Glide, Marquise Johnson from Cornbread Earl and Me. I'm pretty sure he played in that movie. Oh, no. He played in, oh my God, what movie did he play in? I'm not Googling it either. I see it. It's the Wesley Snipes movie. Why can I not think of the name all of a sudden? White Man Can't Jump. Why did that take me so long? I need to lock. I ain't had breakfast. That's my excuse. Karl Malone and Bill Russell. This is an S tier. I mean, they got Bill Russell, the biggest winner of all time. They got Clyde the Glide, who was a phenomenal in his time. And the Karl Malone we don't respect, but it's purely off the basketball aspect, amazing. And then you got the De'Aaron Fox, Clyde Drexler backcourt is highlights. And I'm pretty sure Johnson made a few All-Star appearances. I don't want to disrespect them, and maybe it was more than that. But yeah. Maine, Duncan Robinson and Jeff Turner. Wow. F. Duncan can shoot you into a game, though. But if they matched up against these boys, yeah. Maryland. I forgot there was 50 states. How many more did we... Maryland. Steve Francis, Victor Oladipo, Reggie Lewis, Jeff Green, and Marvin Webster. I don't know Marvin Webster. This is a sneaky good team, man. No Hall of Famers. But all of these dudes had like a prime. You like, oh, man. Like Steve Franchise prime was super fun. Victor Oladipo's prime was super fun, even though it didn't last very long. Rest in peace, Reggie Lewis. Jeff Green don't catch you a body even at the age of 40. This is probably C tier, though. Probably C tier. If VO was able to stay healthy and play to that level for all of this time, they had a possibility of being higher. Again, I don't like my scale. I'm just kind of here to learn the starting 5 of every state. Massachusetts. Low-key disappointing, huh? Dana Barrios, Vinny Del Negro, Bruce Brown, Pat Connaughton, and Bill Laimbeer. Now, some places, I don't know if Massachusetts is one of these places, that if you don't have a large amount of people, we just put you in a spot, right? So Massachusetts could possibly have all guards. That makes it so that Pat Connaughton is running the 4. Nonetheless, I mean, other than Bill Laimbeer punching people and smacking people out of the air, it's not a lot going on here. This is a high D tier, low C tier. Michigan. Wow, Michigan's S tier, huh? Magic Johnson, Devin Booker, George Gervin, C. Webb, and Mel Daniels, ABA legend, Pacer legend. This is an S tier, man. They got Magic. And Magic and Book as a backcourt is kind of insane. And then you got the Iceman, and then C. Webb prime, man. Don't forget about C. Webb's prime. That's an S tier city or S tier state. Minnesota. Now, Minnesota started over the last decade or so to produce a lot of stuff. So, do this again in 20 years. I bet this list will be a lot better. But they got Jalen Suggs, Dick Gardmaker, Devin George, Kevin McHale, and Chet Holmgren. Probably right now in the C tier range, you know, with the potential to get a lot better. C tier-ish. Yeah. Minnesota C tier. Mississippi, MISSISSIPPI. They got our guy, Mahmoud Abdul Rauf. They got Monte Ellis, the Michigan Bullet, or Mississippi Bullet. Chet Walker, Spencer Haywood, and Al Jefferson. It's a B tier team, huh? They got the Steph Curry before Steph Curry, and then they got the dude that they decided between Steph Curry and him and Monte Ellis. Chet Walker, great. Spencer Haywood, great. I think he turned down some Nike stuff back in the day that he probably regret. And then Big Al Jefferson, don't forget about him making an All-NBA team. I think he made one. Probably an A tier, man. Low A tier, high B tier, one of those. Missouri, JoJo White, Bradley Beal, yes. Yes, St. Louis, stand up. Jason Tatum, David Lee, and Ed. I could get there. Hold on. Macaulay. Boom. There it is. Like Macaulay Culkin. I think that might not even be pronounced the same or spelled the same, but that's why I see it in my brain. Wow, this is like a high A tier, man. Jason Tatum's a future Hall of Famer, more likely than not, if he continues on this trajectory. JoJo White's there. Ed is there. David Lee. Don't forget about this whole video is just going to be me saying, don't forget about random player from the 2000s. B plus or A minus. It's in that range. Montana really fielded 5 players, the best of which being Phil Jackson and Adam Morrison. Because they have produced one Hall of Famer, and he was a better coach than player, no disrespect, it's probably got to go D tier instead of F tier, but like who? Ed Kalafet, Larry next, Nebraska, Kenny Sailors, Fred Hoiberg, Bob Boozer, Chuck Gardner, and Dave Hoopin. This man's last name, that's a Hoppin. Dang, that's just Hoppin. Imagine your last name is Hoopin though, and you're a basketball player. This is also exposing my dyslexia quite a bit in today's video. F tier, Fred Hoiberg is there. Nevada, Greg Anthony, Ricky Davis, Troy Brown Jr., Pat Garrity. Ooh, you know I got a soft spot for Pat Garrity. Zach Collins, shout out to Greg Anthony and Ricky Davis. This is a D tier at the most. At the most, a D tier. I ain't feeling Nevada. I'm sorry. And I'm actually surprised. Isn't JaVale McGee from Nevada? Zach Collins is JaVale McGee. Or did he just go to Nevada? I don't know. New Hampshire. Bro, New Hampshire's only produced one NBA player, and it's Matt Bonner, S tier. New Jersey. Jalen Brunson, Rick Barry, Tommy Heisen, rest in peace. Karl Anthony Towns, and Shaq, S tier. Whoa. What a team. How do you guard this team? Now, I don't know much about the way Tommy Heisen played basketball. It was well before my time. But Shaq having to stretch Karl Anthony Towns as his foe with Jalen Brunson there as well. How do you guard S tier? How do you guard this team? Rick Barry, no disrespect. I ain't even mention you like you're not a Hall of Famer. How do you guard this team? I don't know the answer to it. New Mexico, Rudy White, Roberson, Damian James, Bill Bridges, and Alec Kirk. 40 names I don't know. The one I do know is Roberson, who we got respect for. D tier. New York. You knew what New York had. Man. I see, yeah, this is what I mean. Mike is from New York, but I think he claims the Carolinas for sure. This is an S tier, though. Wow. Talk about the perfect team, bro. Talk about the perfect team. They got 2 of the top 3 players of all time on their team, in my opinion. Wow, yeah. S tier. The best team we've seen so far. Here's North Carolina. Yeah, man. Hey, North Carolina got it, too. CP3, David Thompson, Lou Hudson, Bob McAdoo, and James Worthy. We got a lot of S tiers, man, but this is another one of them. That's 5 Hall of Famers. 5 of them. S tier. North Dakota, yikes. To go from Mike S tier, North Carolina S tier, and then North Dakota. Tyler Johnson, Doug McDermott, F tier. Ohio, yeah. Gotta have another S tier. Steph Curry, John Havlicek. Did you know that Steph Curry and LeBron James were born in the same hospital? LeBron James, Jerry Lucas, and Nate Thurman, S tier. We're getting a lot of S tiers out, but like, come on, bro. This collection of talent is insane. They got Honcho. They have Hondo. Honcho is Quavo. Oklahoma, Mark Price, John Starks, Antoine Carr, Wayman Tisdale, Blake Griffin. It's probably close to a C tier. Blake Griffin and John Starks is kind of interesting. Mark Price is kind of interesting too. Probably closer to a C tier, low B tier. Yeah, C tier, high C tier, low B tier. Oregon, Mighty Mouse. Wow, that backcourt is so small. Mighty Mouse, Terrell Brandon, Jeremy Grant, AC Green, and then Domantas Sabonis. It's not too bad though. When you compare it to like, what did I say? This one was a C tier. This team is better, right? This team is better, but I think they're still in the same tier. C. Pennsylvania. Wow. Another S tier. Will Chamberlain has Rasheed Wallace on his team. Kobe Bryant has Paul Arizian. And then Pistol Pete Maravich is up there too. It's an S tier. What can I say? Rhode Island has not produced a lot of NBA players, but two of them being named Ernie is funny. F tier. Shout out to NBA 2K legend Ricky Lido, but that's an F tier. South Carolina. Ooh, no Zion, huh? Or Zion not technically from South Carolina. I don't remember. John Morant, Chris Middleton, Alex English, KG, and Jermaine O'Neal. That's eight. That's high A tier, man. Bordering S tier. It's bordering S tier. They got buckets. They got one of the greatest defensive players of all time in KG. It's bordering S tier. I'm going to give it a very, very high A tier, though. That team is nice. South Dakota. Mike Miller, F tier. Next. That's not a shot at Mike Miller. It's a shot at everybody else here who, I can't pronounce your name. I have no idea of your existence. Tennessee, Big O, Penny Hardaway, Bailey Howe, probably B tier. Campy Russell, probably B tier. The center position kind of holds you a little bit. I don't know Clyde Lee. He might have been a stud, but probably B tier. What? Yeah, B tier. Texas, that's Trae Young, Jimmy Butler, Grant Hill, LaMarcus, and Chris Bosh. That's really good, man. I've given out a lot of S tiers today. And now I'm starting to get a little bit stingy with it. It's probably a very, very high A. S tier. Jimmy Butler, Trae Young, Grant Hill, LaMarcus, S tier. Okay, I overthought it. Sorry, S tier. Utah, Byron Scott's from Utah. I didn't know that. Steve Kramer, Tommy Chambers, John Collins. John Collins is from Utah? I did not know that. Unless it's a different John Collins. Fred Roberts. C tier, probably. Close to the D tier, but they got a couple buckets here. Close to the D tier, but I'm going to go low C tier. Virginia. Yeah, man. AI, Jimmy Walker, Bob Danrich, Alonzo Mourning, and Moses Malone. How do you stop those two bigs down low? It's got to be another S tier, bro. It's got to be another S tier. Y'all let me know of all the S tiers, which team is better. Is it just the in New York one because it got Michael Jordan and stuff? Probably. But, man, there's some really good states here. Washington. It's our last state. Is there any other states that start with W? I failed school. Yo, John Stockton, Brandon Roy, Zach LaVine, Paolo Banchero. Now, this team doesn't have the same pedigree as some of the other ones. So I'm probably putting it at a very, 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 very high B tier. Or just keep it simple and say, hey, here's an A tier. Here's an A tier. If we talking primes, Brandon Roy, man, he might have a star by his name if he could have stayed healthy. Paolo might have a star by his name when it's all said and done. I don't know. Is that the last one? Oh, West Virginia. No, it's not. Darren Williams, Jerry West, Hal Greer, Dick Meehan, and Gary Greger. Probably a B tier. Darren Williams had that Probably B tier because I don't know that front court at all. Wisconsin. Yo, I really flunked out of school, huh? I forgot Wisconsin existed and Wyoming. I forgot 3 whole states existed. Devin Harris, Tyrese Halliburton, Latrell Sprewell, Caron Butler, and Kevon Looney. Yeah, man. It's a solid B-tier team. No Hall of Famers. But I think that's okay. This team can compete with a lot of different teams here, bro. Even without no Hall of Famers. Last one is Wyoming, who only have James Johnson as a person I recognize. So you know what that means. F tier. That is all 50 states and one place that's not even technically a state. My grading scale was all over the place, but at least we got to see certain people from certain states that we didn't know. If you enjoyed the video, leave it a like, subscribe. I guess the comment section is always there for suggestions, and